I was in India when I became eligible to drive. For me, driving was always about speeding. It was not about going from point A to point B. It was how fast I could go from point A to point B. How many people I could pass going from point A to point B. What was my top speed going from point A to point B. Alas, in India, the roads were too congested. There were potholes, puddles, and free-range cows. But all that changed when I came to America. Mr. Contestmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most esteemed guests, this is a story of how I slowed down. When I came to America, the first thing I wanted to do was to get into a muscle car and floor that pedal. I had to first get my driver's license, so I went to the DMV and aced my learner's test, but failed my road test. I was doing 10 miles per hour over the speed limit, and the officer said, "You're going too fast." I said, "Officer, plus 10 miles per hour is fine." He told me to stop the car and get out. Did that slow me down? Yes, it did, for my next road test that I aced. But then I was back with a vengeance. I got myself a Porsche Boxster. I was all set with the 3 M's. The man, the machine, and the motivation to speed. I picked Thanksgiving Day to go on my first road trip to New York City. I especially picked Thanksgiving Day thinking that the roads would be clear. And also, there would be less cops on the road. Boy, was I wrong. Well, I didn't find too many people on the road, and I was speeding like crazy. But then I saw those dreaded red and blue lights. I had to pull over to the side, and I was trembling when the officer came up to me and said, "You were doing 100 on a 65. Officer, my Thanksgiving dinner is waiting for me in New York City. Please let me go." He didn't buy that. In my mind, I'm thinking, why aren't you eating your turkey at home? Why are you making me eat this ticket? But then I got that ticket, one of many to come. Did that slow me down? No, no way. I got another ticket on the same trip in Pennsylvania. This time I was doing 80 on a 65. My excuse to the officer was, "Officer, I have to run to the restroom." Ever had an officer call you bluff? Why didn't you stop at the rest area that you just passed? All right, thank you for the ticket. I'm on my way. I decided to leave the country. I went to Canada. As soon as I cross the border, I'm speeding again. I'm having a lot of fun. Again, those dreaded red and blue lights. I slow down, and the officer comes up. I thought of an excuse this time. "Officer, I saw the speed limit of 100, and I was only doing 90. He said, "Dummy, that is 100 kilometers per hour, and you're doing 90 miles per hour. Take your ticket." Did that slow me down? No, no way. I got myself a radar detector. So I plugged this into my car, and I'm all set for my trip to Ohio, Columbus. But this stupid thing starts to beep at every signal. Construction beacons, signals on roads that are nowhere close to the expressway. I was so frustrated for not speeding when there were no cops looking. But then when this thing stopped beeping, I floored it. My need for speed. Wow. I was having a great time until I saw flashes of red and blue. Why didn't this stupid thing work when it mattered the most? When I got my ticket, my questions were answered. They used a LiDAR and not a radar. Oh great, this is no good. I had to get something that would catch LiDAR, radar, infrared, you name it. I got the best cop detector out there. I plugged it into my car, and on my way back from Ohio, I'm speeding again, having a lot of fun, doing 100 miles per hour to 90 miles per hour, and I get an accomplice. He's speeding with me. We're having a lot of fun. Chasing each other. But then my device starts to beep. I slow down, but he doesn't. He gets caught by a cop. And I have this weird sense of achievement. I was speeding, and I'm not caught. So when I passed him, I was booing at him. But then, I got pulled over a minute later. I was wondering why. I was doing the speed limit after this guy got caught. Then the officer shows up and says, "We were following you with a plane." First a ticket with a radar, then a lidar, then a ticket from heaven? Did that slow me down? No, no way! I went ahead and got a ticket from every state that I visited. I came to be known as a ticket master and less Toastmaster. But did that slow me down? No, no way. Something slowed me down a little when I got a ticket 4 years back. That was my wedding ticket. Now I get constant bickering from the passenger side. "Oh, you're going too fast. How much fine have you paid over the years?" All right, I have to slow down when she's talking. But I could speed when she's sleeping or I was driving alone. But something happened a year back that really slowed me down. I got my daughter. So I traded in my Porsche for this minivan. And I got a baby on board sticker. And now my need for speed became a need for safety. Before I used to floor that pedal, now I feather touch the pedal. And one of these days on that expressway, I'm going to get pulled over for going too slow. And when that happens, my life of speeding would have come a whole circle. This is a godlessness.
Great job, Vish.